So breathing is something that is commonly overlooked and somewhat minimized in terms of performance, qualities, attributes, and trainable content as well. So for the sake of that, we like to utilize a lot of breath patterning deliberately in both our warm-up activation periods and then also as a restorative mechanism as well. So for the sake of this, we're going to have Jeremy demonstrate just a very simple 4x4 breathing from a supine position. So for this, when we say 4x4, what we mean by that is a 4-count inhale through the nose, a hold for 4 seconds, and then a 4-second exhale through the mouth, and just maintaining that cadence. As for the actual breathing instruction, the most important thing with the breath patterning is making sure that we are getting as deep down into the belly as we can. And for this, I just try to think about almost like an inner tube around the waistline and trying to have them kind of breathe down and then outward from there into those contact points. But importantly, just making sure that we're not seeing a lot of chest rising and a lot of chest breathing. So really trying to, and you see Jeremy has his hands here to kind of cue himself to really breathe down into that part of the belly. So here we have a single leg hamstring isometric using the wall. I will note for the sake of this that this setup actually works a little bit better if you have a break in the wall. So in other words, this leg is able to kind of be out of the equation and we can really just isolate one. But anyhow, for the sake of this, it's perfectly fine if you just have a flush wall. We'll just make a slight adjustment out of that. So for this, we're just going to see this right leg as being the one that's in the exercise here. This leg is just kind of passive for the sake of this. So for here, what we're going to have him do is drive his heel down into the wall for a 3 count, 3, 2, 1, and then go ahead and release off, hold, 3, 2, 1, and then drive back down. And again, we just want to check and make sure we're not getting too much quad activation here. As we can see from the tremoring, we're getting a good hamstring activation and just making sure that we're not getting any compensations or deviations at the foot. Go ahead and do a couple more there. So now we'll take a look at a QL ISO here, and we're going to use a box for this, but you can easily use the base of a rack, you can use a wall, really whatever accommodates for you. But case in point for this, what we're going to do is have Jeremy work into the box for an isometric hold and then kind of release in the opposite direction thereafter. So for this QL position here, importantly, we want to make sure that the arms are down to the side and we're kind of driving the hands down for support. From there, I'm going to have him elevate his legs about 2 inches off the ground, and then he's going to go ahead and drive into the box, 3, 2, 1, and then sweep away the opposite direction, 3, 2, 1, and then he'll continue to transition that. For this, just watch how much arching we're getting in the low back, and then how much compensation we're getting either locking through the quad or moving through the foot. Go ahead and do a couple more there. So for this, we're going to have Jeremy do a single arm farmer's carry here, but importantly, we're going to add a hypoxic breath hold to it. And for the sake of this warm-up protocol specifically, having a specific breath cadence or a deliberate breath instruction is just a really good, subtle way to kind of drive the efficiency of the movement. So for this, there's nothing special about the farmer's carry. We're just going to have him kind of hold at the side, think about the envelope in the armpit, making sure that we're keeping the arm long, chest tall. But for the breath hold, what we're going to do is have him breathe in real big, and then I want him to hold as he goes through his gait action here. So we'll get a big breath in, and then go ahead and hold coming across here. He will then expel his breath completely, re-breathe in, and then hold coming back. Okay, so another one of the everyone's favorites options here, we have an inchworm. One modification that I like to do with my inchworms is I like to do them from 2 different foot positions. So I'll actually have the athletes start in a wide stance position as they walk the hands down, and then bring their feet together as they walk their feet back into their body. This is just a quick little way that we can get some different parts of the hamstrings and glutes going. So for this, I'll have Jeremy get nice and wide to start, and he will walk his way down here, and then hands will come out into that push-up pattern. and then he's going to bring his feet together and then walk those feet back in, baby stepping it, getting back to the top. Perfect. Another thing that we like to throw into our programming frequently is a lot of the RPR concepts. So this again is another one that is attributed to Cal Dietz and Chris Korfis, who have developed this system. But with RPR, the main thing with this is just understanding that we're not really doing anything that's like sophisticated or advanced in a sense. It's really just kind of taking your thumb and your index finger like so, and then just gently applying pressure along these different lines. So a good way to think about this is almost like you're kind of chipping paint off of a wall, is the way that one of the ways that I've heard it instructed to me that made sense. And then we're just going to follow these patterns. The last note on this is whenever we're doing the RPR stuff, I want to have exaggerated breathing patterns. So really emphasizing big inhales, full exhales, and making sure that we're keeping some cadence with that. So Jeremy's going to give us a demonstration here of a wide breathing pattern. So you notice he's going to start just at the top of the sternum here and kind of work down that midline of the sternum. Very importantly, make sure you stay off of that bottom part. That's a very sensitive and delicate area, known as your xiphoid process. So he's going to stop just above that and then start working out on the ribs. And you see now that Jeremy's gone to kind of the four-finger approach, which is just fine as well, kind of like a scrubbing of the base of the ribs. Midline of the sternum to kind of finish the set out. And then I'm going to have Jeremy turn here for this second part of the demo. So this point back here is your occipital lobe. It's that little notch in the back of your head. We're going to work just beneath that there and then kind of work out on each side of the neck there. And this is actually our glute RPR spot here. So Jeremy's going to go ahead and give us a demo here, and you see same thing with the thumb just kind of working in. And this is a moderate pressure. You're not trying to do too much. You're not trying to induce pain or discomfort. It really doesn't take a lot here to get what we need out of it. About 30 to 60 seconds on each side is perfectly fine for this.